Hi, we are going to be making this cute bag. This is the Clutch 2.0 size 5 zipper bag, and this is what the front looks like. I'm going to show you how to put the hardware on it to make it into a purse. So here's the cute front. This detail's so cute at the bottom. Here's the back. And then you open up the zipper, and here's the liner. Completely enclosed. Okay, so we are going to make this. This is the 6x10 size that we're going to make. So go ahead and put one sheet of cutaway on your hoop, whatever size you're making, and meet me over at my machine.
Okay guys, I have the 6x10 size loaded of the Clutch 2.0. I'm running my Baby Lock Meridian here. I have one sheet of cutaway on my hoop, and I'm going to be making the 6x10 size. The very first step, you're going to want to go ahead and stitch your placement directly on your stabilizer. I will come back and show you what that looks like.
Okay, this is what it looks like. That's the placement right there. The next step, we're going to go ahead and place a zipper right here. I'm making the size 5. This Clutch 2.0 comes in the size 5 zipper, the size 3 zipper. It also comes in a front zip. This is considered the top zip bag. So I'm going to use size 5 zipper. So when it says size 5 on the Parker on the Porch website, it refers to this type of zipper. If it doesn't say size 5, then it's referring to the size 3 zipper, which is a standard zipper right here that already comes with a pull. Okay. I have links underneath this video that tell you where I get this. I get my size 3 zippers on ZIPIT on Etsy. And then size 5, I go to my Handmade Space on Etsy, or they also have a website, a standalone website. You don't have to do the Etsy. But I'm going to show you how to use size 5 because that's what this is. So I just go ahead. It comes on tape. And then you just go ahead and get it long enough where you can get past your placement on both sides. Okay, and then you're just going to cut across. And then I usually take my lighter and I'll singe the end. It's not necessary, but it will start fraying and it's harder to put the zipper pull on when it's fraying. So I always just do it. Okay, so if you pull these apart, you just pull both sides. It will pull these two apart so you have two sides. I do this upside down, so I flip this over to the back like this, okay? And then here's the zipper. I'm going to use this zipper pull right here. This is a size 5, and it's like, I use it for like puppies and stuff, but it would be cute. I'm going to be using, we said the bear fabric, so I'm going to use these little feet. They're standard size 5 on my Handmade Space. Looks like this, so you could use this if you want. I'm going to use this one. Now, when I first started using the size 5 zippers, the reason I was using them is because you could put custom pulls on. There's lots of custom pulls. I don't remember where I got this one. I searched for a minute to see if I could find it really quickly, but I can't find it. So, but if you search on Etsy and if you just do paw print size 5 zipper pull or whatever, lots come up. Not this one, but there's a lot of other cute ones that some are even cuter than this one. So just go ahead and search that way. There's lots of custom hardware Facebook groups and stuff. You just need to look for them. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use. You can see there's a top. Okay, so I do this upside down like this, and I do this upside down. See, the flat part is the back of it. And I take my hands like this. I'm going to try to do it slowly. And I put this angled, okay? And then I put this angled like this. So they're both angled right at the tip. If one's further in than the other, then it's harder to pull through. But you see how I have them both barely started? And then I just push, see my finger? I'm pushing this and pulling each side with my thumbs, okay? And once you start to get it, then you just pull this fabric right here, like this, and it will go right on. Okay, and then I just pull it across, and I just get it over here to see how it frays right away. We're going to cut this excess off later, so it doesn't matter, but sometimes it's hard to get on when it frays. Okay, so I have the zipper pull on. This is how you want it. Okay, now you could place your zipper this way if you want to open from this side. If you want to open from the other side, you place it this way. Okay, so you have that option. Now the thing that I do is I line the bottom of this along the bottom line right here, and I just line it up where it's barely showing. I can still see this bottom line, but barely. The other thing you can do if you don't want to line up on that bottom line, the center of your zipper teeth right here, there's a center line right here. That's the middle of your zipper teeth. You can line it along this line right here, this middle line. If you just go ahead and go like this and line that up exactly, and then just pull it down, you can line up there too. Okay, so those are the two places you can line up. I just literally pull it right here. Make sure your zipper's long enough on either side to make sure your foot of your machine can go around and around without hitting your hardware. Okay, so that's the key. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tape this down. Okay. Just like that, and I'll put one more up here just to hold it in place. The next step's going to go ahead and stitch right along here on your zipper tape. It's going to jump your zipper teeth and then stitch above it, tacking your zipper to your stabilizer. Okay, I'm going to go over the machine. I'm going to stitch the very next step, and then I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, here we are. You can see that it went ahead and tacked down the zipper. We're good to go now. It went ahead and stitched on both sides right there. Okay, and that's how I was lined up. Now, the one thing I wanted to say is you can get number 3 and number 5 zipper tape and custom zipper pulls now. It was hard to find the number 3 as a custom zipper pull originally, but now they're everywhere. So just also that take note, if you are shopping for custom zipper pulls and zipper tape, make sure you're buying the right one, whether you want the 5 or the 3. They'll be listed, but make sure you know what you're buying, as well as the zipper bags. Like I said, on the Parker on the Porch website, if it says size 5, then it's referring to this zipper tape, size 5 and size 5 zipper pulls. If it doesn't say anything, then it's the size 3. So just make sure you know what you're buying. Okay, so let's keep moving on. Once you have the zipper down, we're going to go ahead and flip this over. This is cutaway. We're going to go ahead and remove the cutaway right here on the other side of the zipper where the zipper teeth is. This line right here, this center line right here, is where the zipper teeth line is lined up. So we're going to go ahead and cut right above this line and below that top line, getting this center line cut out. All this cutaway we're taking out, because when we flip the bag, we need to flip through this hole. So when you do this, make sure you don't cut your zipper tape. The reason I do this right now as well, normally I just get it cut and then I just slide it across, because my scissors will slide across. And I'm just using applique scissors, okay? And you can do this at the end of the bag, but then you have fabric on either side and it's easier to cut your fabric. Right now, the only thing you really have to watch out for is cutting your zipper, okay? So I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. Okay, so now you can see that we cut that out. Now the purpose of that, I'm just going to go ahead and show you. When your zippers open at the end, you can see it will make a hole, and that's what we'll, that's what we'll turn through. Okay, we just cut that off right there. So that's what makes your hole to turn through your bag, okay? So you don't need your zipper open yet, so I'm going to move it back over. I was just showing you the purpose of that, okay? So here we are. Now we're going to go ahead and prep our fabric. I'm going to be using this fabric right here. Okay, let me see where, if I can show you. I'm going to use these pandas. Okay, you might notice I have panda everything. My daughter's name is Miranda and we call her Panda. So I'm going to make her this bag for her. Okay, so these are some cute little pandas. Let me show you where it's from. This is Art Gallery fabric. Okay. So you can see right there, it's Art Gallery. Okay, I'm going to be using this fabric on the outside. And then I'm going to use this cute little black and white heart fabric on the inside. And let me see what this says it is. Okay. This is what the label says right here. I bought it off of Etsy, so that's what it says. Okay, so the way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to just turn my hoop here. Now, when you buy this design, there's a step-by-step PDF in your files, and it's a picture PDF, and it shows you step-by-step on how to do this as well. Several people like to watch videos because it's easier to follow along with videos versus reading steps. But in that PDF, if you're a person that likes to prep all of your fabric ahead of time, it shows every single size of bag that comes in your design and what size you should cut for the outside, the back, and the two liners. Okay, I do it this way. When you have your placement, then you can measure your fabric off of your placement, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well. But if you are a person that's making like 15 bags and you want to just know what size, then I don't point that out, because this is the 6x10 size bag. If you're making the 5x7 size bag, it's a totally different size of fabric, so you'll need to go to the PDF for that. Okay, so I'm turning my bag this way because my pandas line up along this way. There's a right and a wrong way for my fabric. I wouldn't cut it this way because my pandas would be going the wrong way. So I'm just turning my hoop. I basically fold my fabric over and over. Now, keep in mind, if you want just the little square of the fabric, this isn't how you would do it, but I'm not that person. If you watch any of my tutorials, I'm not very skimpy with my fabric. I'd rather just have things done fast. So I just go ahead and do this. I fold it here, and I can see where the top of mine is and the bottom of my placement is. You just need a piece that's big enough to go past that. Now you need a piece that's big enough to go across the whole portion of the bag. That's for the back of your fabric. And then you can cut a little smaller since it's under the zipper for the front, but you still are going to be folding this over, so you have a little bit of a flap. So I just cut two pieces the same size, but know that it's too big. So if you're really trying to watch how much fabric you're using, you might want to cut it a different way. I'm just going like this, and I'm not moving the fabric any certain way because my pandas are just all over the place. If there was a specific flower or something, I might move my fabric in a certain way so it can fit in my center. But I'm not fussy cutting this because it's all just kind of the same. Okay, so once I do that, now I have a piece big enough that way. Now I need it big enough this way. Okay, so then I just go like this. I open it up. I'm going to cut off the seam allowance right here so I don't end up using it in my bag. Okay, then what I do is I just make sure I can get past the placement stitches over here, okay, all the way to over here. And like I said, if there was a specific bear I wanted in the center or something, I would fussy cut this. I would actually know that there's going to be a line down here, and I would know where this panda exactly lined up, but I'm not fussy cutting on this fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut across right here. Okay, now what I have extra is like a piece like this, which I can use for something else. Technically, I could make two of these bags if I cut more. So I'm just moving that aside. So I have two pieces of this front, one for the front, one for the back of the bag. So this is my outside fabric. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to do the exact same thing with my liner. Now you need the exact same sizes for your liner. So I'm going to do it the same way. I fold my fabric. Now these hearts go a specific way. You can see there, that's the right way. I wouldn't cut it like this because then my hearts would be sideways. So make sure you watch that when you're doing liners and front things. There might be a very specific way to cut your fabric. Okay, so I'm just doing the same thing. Measured it over, cut the seam allowance off. Okay, and then I'm just going to measure, make sure I can get over all the placements, cut across. Okay, and then, so now I have all the fabric I need for this bag. I have 2 liners right here, and I have a front and a back. Now I'm going to go prep my fabric, and I'm not going to make you watch me prep it. I'm going to go prep it, and then I'll just tell you what I did, okay? Okay, I went ahead and prepped my fabric. I have my 2 fronts ironed, fully ironed, and I have interfacing. I'll show you that in a second. And then I have my 2 liners. My liners is just woven fabric. I just ironed them. I'm not putting anything else on them. But my outside fabric is also woven. When I use woven and I do a bigger size bag, meaning 5x7 and bigger. If I do smaller than 5x7, I won't use fusible fleece, but if it's bigger than a 5x7 or bigger, I will go ahead, and I like to use fusible fleece. It makes your fabric a lot thicker. So this is what I'm using right here. Just says fusible fleece, Pellon. And then I just bought this whole roll from Joann's, or this whole thing, 987F. There's usually sales and stuff, and I just get it shipped to my house. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. If you have not used fusible fleece or any type of fusible interfacing, it works the same way. So you would take, this is the right side of my fabric, you would put it face down, so the wrong side of your fabric's up. Then you would go ahead and take your fusible fleece. There's a rough side and a smooth side. You would take the rough side and you would place it down. You'd cut it to the right size. See how I have it cut? Cut it to the right size, and then you'd place it down. And then I just always flip it over like this, and then you iron it. And you just kind of iron it a little slowly, and it adheres to your fabric, making your fabric thicker. So that's how I do that. Okay, so we're all ready to go because we have all our fabric prepped and ready. So the first thing we're going to do, the next step's going to go ahead. This is called a flipper style top zip bag. So you're going to place the liner and the top of your bag at the exact same time. So I'm going to flip my hoop over, and I'm going to write top on it. You can kind of tell where the top is because the zipper's up here, but I'm just going to put top up here so you guys can kind of refer to it, because we're working on the top, the front of our hoop and then the underneath of our hoop, but the top is the top on both sides. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm just going to write top up here. The only reason that's important is for directional fabric. If you have directional fabric, it makes a difference. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I have my hoop. This is the underneath of my hoop. This is the top. You can see the zipper here. There is a line down here. I pull my fabric below this line right here. So here's my liner fabric, and mine are directional fabric. My fabric will turn out wrong if I put this on incorrectly because I have hearts and they're facing me right here. If you put this on the wrong way, you don't want your hearts upside down when you open your bag. Okay, so the right way to do it is I have the hearts right side up. This is fabric right side up, hearts facing me, so I can see them the correct way towards me. Then you're going to go ahead and take your fabric and you flip it up like this. That will keep your fabric the right direction for your liner. Now I'm going to pull it up, and I'm going to place it right below this line right here. You'll see you have the line, so I'm just going to go ahead, make sure I get past my placement stitches. You can see how big it has to be. Okay, then I just pull it straight down. Okay, once I'm below there, then I go ahead and I put tape down on either side like that, and it just kind of hangs here up here. So what's going to happen, the next step's going to stitch a straight line right here along your zipper, and it's basically going to tack your liner in the front of your bag to your zipper. And then when you pull this down, this will flip down after, and then your fabric will be the right way for your liner inside your bag. Okay, so we have it taped down. I'm just going to flip it over. It just kind of hangs there, so just keep it out of the way. Okay, now we're going to do the exact same thing to the front of our bag. Okay, so pick which fabric you want. These are the same, so I'm just trying to look at where the bears are placed to see if I want a specific bear somewhere. I think I like this bear really high. This one's really cute and in a good position, but depending on where I place it, remember you're going to have, this is the 2.0 clutch, so you're going to have another fabric below it, and it'll probably end up cutting part of his face off. So I'm just going to use this top one knowing that these cute bears will be at the very top. if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, make sure I'm past the placements on either side, like this way. Make sure you're getting over all of it. Now I'm just going to place it right along the top right here. So if there was something, say I was trying to line him up, you can always like pull your fabric up and pull it back and forth and line it up where he's more like in the center right here. But just always keep in mind, if you're really trying to dead center one, a lot of times I'll go ahead and print. If you have software, I will bring up the size 6 by 10. See if I can show you. I'll bring up the size 6 by 10 and then I will print it out. Let me show you on this. Yeah, I see I have some of these. This isn't the same bag, but I will print it out. I'm just going to show you an example of this. Lots of people do this too. They trace it on clear, so you can, this really helps with seeing where to line up your fabric. So this is an option that people do. I usually do this. I'll print out 2 of these. This is different bags, but I'll print out right what it is, and then I'll cut this bottom piece out. So when it is stitched right here, this isn't the right bag, but you would place it like this, and then you would see exactly where that curve is going to go. And a lot of times I'll just take my marker and draw the line so I know where it's going to be cut off. Then you can line your fabric up like exactly so. So if I go like this, and I know it's going to flip kind of like that, I could put my hands here, make sure my bear is in the center, right and left, and then I can see right here, because I drew it, exactly where it's going to cut off. So I would know if this bear face is going to show or not show, depending on where I place this fabric. So that's just a hint. You can go ahead, if you have software, you can go ahead and double click on the software, hit file print. It'll print this. This is bigger than a normal sheet of paper. Then I tape it together, and then I print a second one and cut it, because then I can see both of them. So you can see I cut this one. This is the different bag, but so hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that was not confusing, but I'm just letting you know there's a way that you can really get your fabric in the exact position that you want it. I'm not that concerned about this one because my bears are fine. Okay, so let me show you how to place it. So you're past all your placements. You can do the fussy moving if you want to. I just kind of told you how to do that. Now I'm going to go ahead to make the bears the correct way like this. They're facing you correctly. You're going to flip up like this. And then I pull it right along the zipper right here. And you can see, I can see this bear head through the fabric. So I can move this right and left to get him kind of centered if that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, so I kind of do want him centered. Okay, sorry, that's my iron. All right, so hopefully that placement wasn't too confusing. I always try to give a lot of information, and sometimes I wonder if it's more helpful or less helpful. So hopefully that was helpful. Okay, so we are ready to go. I'm going to go. We have the front taped. We have the back taped. I'm going to bring you with me because I'm going to show you some other little tips that you need to do to make sure your bag doesn't get messed up. But you have them all taped. I'm going to go back over to the machine, and then I will show you what we do next. Okay, I'm on my machine here. I put it back on, and I just held my hand under the liner to get it on so it didn't tear off, because it's really just taped there, sitting there floating. Okay, so I make sure that my liner didn't mess up when I put it back on and the tape's still working and the tape's still good. So that's what I wanted to show you. Make sure your liner is still up and out of the way and straight, and it's going to stitch correctly. The next step is going to go ahead and stitch one line across here. It's basically tacking the top of your bag to the zipper and the liner of your bag to your zipper. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch that, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. There's a couple things I'm going to point out here. It went ahead and stitched that line. You can see it. Now, you're basically going to pull this down and see how it flips over and it looks right. See, that's the, let me move over. That's the top of your bag. It's going to look like that. Okay, now if you pull this fabric down and you don't pass these stitch lines anywhere, then you need to tear this out, seam rip it, and try again. Your fabric has to make it past all these lines,
or all these placement lines, or your bag won't work, okay? Same with the back. So that's the front. Let's do the back and look at the liner. You can see that it went ahead and stitched right here. If you don't want this much fabric, you could trim this a little bit right now. This is when you trim it if this is too much. I'm fine with it. It doesn't bug me. So I'm going to pull this down and show you that this is going the correct way as well, okay? Because this is the top right here, top. So when you come down, you can see those hearts are faced the correct way, okay? Right now, we're not doing the liner because we have some detail stitching to do on this bag. So I'm going to put it back on my machine. I just wanted to show you that you could trim it right now if there's excess fabric that you don't want. And then also to make sure you get past all the placement lines, both for the back and the front. And you could check that before you stitch that too. So now you can see, if I just left this like this, my liner would be completely messed up, okay? I'm gonna pull the front of my bag down, and then I'm gonna fix my liner. Sorry, I'm one-handed over here. That's why I do a lot of it over on the other side, okay? So my liner is completely up. You want to keep your liner up. Make sure it's smooth and out of the way. Nothing's going to get stitched in, okay? Then you're going to go ahead and pull your front down, making it smooth, okay? I hold it on this next step. You can tape if you want. You can tape here and there. It's going to go ahead and stitch down all the way around and up, following these placement lines that we originally did, tacking the front of your bag down, okay? So that's what the next step's going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that. I'll come back and show you. Okay, this is what it looks like here. It went ahead and tacked that down all the way around, okay? Our liner is still up here hanging out. The next step is going to be to do a placement stitch for your applique piece that's going to be down here. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that. You stitch that directly right here, leaving your liner up. I'm going to go ahead and stitch that. I'll come back and show you. Okay, guys, this is what we look like. It went ahead and stitched the placement here, so you know how big of a piece of fabric we need. Our liner's still hanging out, okay? You can use fabric down here because it does a really nice satin stitch right here. So you could use just woven fabric. If I was gonna, I'm not using woven fabric, but if I was using woven fabric, you can go ahead and prep some Heat and Bond Light with it. And basically you would iron your woven fabric, put Heat and Bond Light on it, which is basically like an interface. It goes on exactly like a interfacing, but it's for appliques. And you put it on, and then you'd put your fabric on, then you'd stitch it, and then at the very end, when everything's over, when you iron it, it adheres to here a little better. I'm going to use vinyl right here. You could also, you don't have to use Heat and Bond Light on the applique piece, but what I usually do is I go ahead and I take a piece of woven fabric and then I interface it with normal like medium weight interfacing, and then it just makes the fabric a little thicker so it's not gonna float around. I wouldn't just take normal woven fabric and put it here. It's really could get bunched up, especially with the thick satin stitching. So what I would either do is I would take woven fabric and put like medium weight interfacing on the back and then place it there so it stays, it's a little thicker and it stays straight and firm. Or I would do the Heat and Bond Light option, which basically just comes on a roll, just like interfacing, and you basically just take the wrong side of your fabric. You would take the Heat and Bond Light, you'd put it on there, you would iron it, and then you would take the backing off, you would put it on here, and then all the same steps are the same. That's just prepping fabric with Heat and Bond Light. I'm going to use vinyl. When I use vinyl, I want to show you how to do that. So get a big enough piece that can get past your stitch lines right here. It shows you what it is. I'm just going to cut this piece off right now. Okay, so I just get a big enough piece. Okay, you're just watching these corners and I just cut along here. Okay, now this is a really pretty vinyl. I like this. I use this vinyl all the time for bags. I like that it's really pliable. It's not too thick, so it's hard to turn or anything. It also holds satin stitches, really thick stitching really well. So this is the vinyl I use for bags the most. I have all the colors. This is at mypunkbroidery.com. If underneath this video, if you
click right underneath, like it says Park on the Porch, you click right there underneath, it shows all the different links. MyPunkBroidery.com is there. This line is called Stardust. You need to search star as one word and then dust after it, and the line will come up. There's lots of colors. This one's the black one, so that's what I am using. Okay, so you just need a piece big enough to go past all of this like this. Now we're going to go back over to our machine. When we put the hoop on, we're going to make sure our liner stays out of the way. We're not pulling our liner down yet, so go ahead and put it on your machine. Look underneath, make sure your liner's straight and out of the way, and then go ahead and stitch the next step. The next step's just going to tack this piece of your applique, whether you're using fabric or vinyl, to your bag, and then I'll come back and show you what we're going to do. Okay, here we are. This is what it looks like. It went ahead and tacked it down right there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and cut this. Excuse me, whether you used whatever materials you used, it all works the same. So I'm going to use applique scissors. They're just curved scissors, but allows you to get close to the stitches right here without actually cutting the stitches. Okay, so I just go ahead and lift this, and I'm cutting just this top portion. I'm not cutting the sides or the bottom. You want to leave that part of your fabric because it's going to get stitched to your bag, and then when we flip it, when we cut all the way around, then the excess will get cut off. But if you cut really close to the stitch line right here, your vinyl is going to pull out, or your material is going to pull out of your bag. So just cut the top where the satin stitches are going to go. Now you want to get as much of that fabric off as you can. So you want to get really close to these stitches. That's why you use an applique scissors. Okay. The key is you want it cut close enough to these stitches that when the satin stitches go over, you do not see this vinyl on the other side of your satin stitches. If you cut this really loosely and not really close to the stitches, you would see this vinyl on the other side, and you don't want to do that. That's what you're trying to get the fabric away for, okay? So that's how you're going to cut it right there. It's just cut close to the stitches all the way across. Now I'm going to bring this back over the machine. The very next step is going to go ahead and stitch the stitch. Sorry, it's going to go ahead and stitch the detail stitches that go up. It's not the satin stitch yet. It's the little detail stitch that goes down. So pick what color you want that to be. If you want that to be a different color, go ahead and pick your color and go ahead and stitch that. And then I will come back and show you what we do next. Okay, here's what those detail stitches look like right there. I chose to do white. And remember, our liner's still up. Now I'm going to go ahead and stitch the next step, which is going to do satin stitches. The thick satin stitches are going to be next. So change your thread to the color that you want that to be. Make sure when you put it on your hoop, you make sure your liner's still out of the way. You don't want this down yet. Okay, I'm going to go stitch that. I'll come right back. Okay, guys, that's what it looks like right there. That super cute satin stitching. I used black. It went all the way across. Okay, now if you went into your software and you added a design or something else that's going to go, this bag looks really cute with something right here like a monogram or some filled design that's really cute. It's really cute. So if you added something in software that you want to stitch, like a monogram or something, you would stitch it right now. So go jump your steps and stuff and stitch it right now before you pull your liner down. So anything else that you're stitching on this bag has to happen now before you pull your liner down. I'm not adding anything else, so I'm going to go ahead and just show you what we do next. We're going to pull the liner down. There are other videos that I show you how to add a monogram or merge designs and stuff in software. So go watch one of those if you were interested in learning how to do that, but I'm not doing it in this tutorial, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over. We're gonna go ahead and pull our liner down. We're at that stage where the liner comes down because the liner covers all the design and stitches that you do. You can see my fabric's a little too long because I just cut it that way. So I'm gonna trim it a little bit so I can tape it without it being in there. I'm just going to cut a little bit of this off. Now you're going to want to smooth your liner down, make sure it's all smooth, and then tape it really good because you are underneath your hoop. And I'm going to tape these edges. Tape this edge. Okay, now you're going to go over to your machine. As soon as you have that all taped good, you're going to go over to your machine. You're going to put this back onto your machine. Now you're going to peek underneath your hoop once you have it on to make sure that this did not shift. You don't want this to shift when you're putting it onto your machine. Sometimes the tape pulls up. So make sure you just do an extra little second check underneath your hoop to make sure it didn't move, and then stitch the next step. The next step is going to go ahead and go all the way down here, around and up, tacking your liner to your bag. I will come back and show you what mine looks like. Okay guys, let me show you what that looks like. It went ahead and tacked my liner completely down. Okay, so you're going to leave that there. The next step is we're going to put the back of the bag on the front of the bag. And whenever you do that, you must open your zipper, okay? If you don't open your zipper, you won't be able to turn your bag and your bag will be ruined. So I open my zipper far enough over that I can turn through this hole, but not so far over that the foot of my machine will hit my hardware as it goes by these lines. It's going to keep going by all these placement lines, so that's how you know that you need the foot of your machine to be able to get past this without hitting your hardware. Okay, so I'm going to have it open that far. Now this is the step whenever you put the back of your bag on the front of your bag on whichever bag you're making. This is where you add hardware. If you want anything extra onto your bag for hardware, this is when you add it. Okay, I'm just getting a little string there. Okay, so you can place something anywhere along this outline placement, anywhere. Make sure your zipper pull stays on the inside, else it will hit it out here. Okay, so you can see your placement lines that go all the way around the bag. The next step's going to go around and around and around, following those placement lines. So anything you put along these lines can get sewn into your bag. So I'm actually going to make this into a crossbody bag for my daughter. So I'm going to show you how to add the hardware for a purse, basically. So you don't have to add this. This is just how you do it if you want to add this. So I do it this way. I went ahead and took my same vinyl and cut it into the right size to match my D rings. These are D rings. You can get them in a lot of different sizes. So whatever size you want to get, then I just cut my vinyl down to fit in here. Okay. I just like literally just, this is my excess that was right here. Literally, you can cut it like this just to get it like that. Fold it like this. I have a straight edge right there. I just fold it over, have a straight edge. And then I do this a lot, so I kind of know how big my D-rings are. So I just kind of eyeball it and cut straight up. And now I have a flap that can go through a D-ring. See, I kind of eyeballed it correctly. Now, if it's too wide, then I just cut a little bit more off, okay? So that's how I prepped it. Now, some people say vinyls. I haven't had this issue, but if you are worried about it, then you can go ahead. If you want this to be a little stronger, the vinyl, you don't want it to tear or anything like that, then you can go ahead and take, I would take like medium weight interfacing, and I would just go ahead and put the little piece right here, and then I'd put fabric over this because this is vinyl, it will melt, and then you can iron it on to give it a little more stability from it tearing. I've never had any tear, but I think people have, so I'm just giving you that added touch. The other thing you can do if you don't want to use vinyl, you can go ahead and make bias tape that's the size, and it looks really cute on these bags. I've done it on several of these bags as well. I think I have an example of one. Hold on, let me get it. I do. I made this bag right here. This is also Parker on the Porch design. Super cute. So I just took this fabric and I made bias tape. So you don't have to worry about it tearing because this is really heavy duty. This is just the woven fabric with interfacing on it, folded over to make bias tape. And you could do that as well. That's what it would look like. I'm just going to use the vinyl here, okay? There is a video in the Parker on the Porch group that shows you how to make the bias tape for the for those. Bev did one, so you can go in there into the guides and there's a tutorial. Okay, so I just put these the exact same direction. Remember, your hardware stays on the inside of your bag. You ultimately, in the end, it flips out, but when we stitch it, it is on the inside. We cut all the way around this bag several times, so if you had your hardware hanging out, you'd cut it off. So it goes on the inside. That's just a way to remember it. Now, the way I line it up is I look at my stitches right here on either side, and I line it up the same way on both sides, so I know that it's going to be even and look the same. So I just scoot it over a little bit. Now I take the flat part of my D-ring and I pull it all the way up to my zipper. I'm just going to try line it exactly right. Okay. And then I take tape and I tape across, because this top one is going to get stitched into this top line that's above your zipper, your top zipper teeth. That's going to stitch right here, and that's going to determine how long this is on top when it flips out. I don't want like really long ones. I don't like the way that looks for my bag, so I place it there. If I wanted it longer, I would pull this down more and that would make it longer. If you want it shorter, you pull it up. Just make sure that you're not so far up that the foot of your machine is going to hit it either. So I tape up here. You can also tape down here because you can see it kind of moves up. You don't want that hardware going in there, so you can just do a little tape right there for a second too, just to hold it. Now I go ahead and do the exact same thing on this side because I'm making purse straps. Okay, I'm going to just scoot this a little bit out of the way. Okay, and then I'm just going to eyeball about how far over that is. So hopefully it looks about right. That's about right. And then I'm going to pull this up and I'm just trying to match it to the other one. You know, there's probably a more scientific way if you get like a ruler and you can measure exactly, but I usually get it close enough, and when it's not, it's a little hard to tell because the zipper's open and the other one's not. So I'm just trying to, I don't want one looking really longer than the other. It'll look lopsided. All right, I'm going to go with that and hope that it's close enough. Sometimes it comes out and I'm like, ugh, that should have been up a little more or whatever, but okay. All right, so I have my hardware on. I'm also, this is ultimately going to have purse straps on here. I made a crossbody thing. I'm going to take some fold over elastic, which is just pretty elastic, and I'm going to put it right here on the side because I like to add little charms and stuff hanging off of my bags. So I'm just going to fold it over, little loop. The loop goes on the inside of the bag because you don't want it cut off. And I'm just going to place it right here. Now, this is also how you'd place like your tag. If you're a business and you have tags, a lot of people place them down here. This is also how you would place that. I'm just going to put it here so I can add like a little lip gloss holder or something that matches this bag, and it will hang just to the side of it. Okay, so I am ready to go. I've added everything I wanted to add. If you want to add a tag, add a tag. This is how you add stuff, okay? All the hardware needs to be on the inside of the bag. Now you're going to go ahead and take the back of your fabric, okay? I'm going to show you how to place this. This is placed differently than your front and your liner. Okay, this is how you want your fabric. The right side's up, the right side facing you. The bears are looking at me. Now you're going to go ahead and flip it this way. By doing that, it will be the correct direction on the back of your bag, okay? Now make sure you get past all your placement stitches, go over to your machine and stitch the next step. The next step's gonna go all the way around this bag several times. Make sure your zipper's open, okay? Okay, this is what it looks like right here. Now you're gonna go ahead and flip your hoop over. I'm gonna put it where the top is up here because it matters. Your fabric, the other side of the liner, the right side is up, the right side is facing me. You're going to flip this direction to make sure that it's facing the correct direction. Okay, you're going to go ahead and tape it down, go back to your machine, make sure that it doesn't move when you put it onto your hoop because you just have tape here. Once it's secure and it's good and it's on your machine, go ahead and stitch the last stitch step. We're on the last one. It's just going to tack your liner down, leaving a hole right here for us to turn through. Okay, this is what it looks like. The top of your hoop, the underneath of your hoop, it went ahead and stitched, and there's a little hole right here. So now you can take it off of your hoop because we are done stitching. Okay, now I always cut from the other side. This is solid. I cut from this side so you can see where the hole is. So you have your 2 liners and you have a hole right here. Okay, so I cut from this side and I just cut up to where the stitches end at an angle. So I cut like this, and then I cut all the way around without cutting any of your stitches. So remember how I was telling you, if you put your hardware or anything on the outside of these placement stitches that hang on the outside, you're going to cut them off right now. The other thing is I was saying is you could use any size zipper because we cut off the excess. It just has to be big enough to get past your placement stitches, because your zipper could be way out here. We just cut off the excess. So you don't have to cut like super close. I'll show you in a second how close I'm cutting. And when you get to this side, I stop cutting when I get to where the stitches stop right there, and then I turn out and cut the other direction. And then I cut like straight across here. And then you have your liners right here. Either piece on either side of the hole is your liner. So you're going to fold that up. I just kind of fold like this, and I flip. You keep these 2 liner pieces. This part you don't need, so we're going to cut that off. So I fold this up like this and hold it, and then I flip over, and I cut from this side because you can see the stitches on this side. You can't see them on this side. When you're cutting, make sure you cut straight across. Make sure your scissors is up and down. Do not cut at an angle like this. If you cut like this, you'll cut in to your liner in your bag. So make sure you're going straight across. And then I just cut this excess stuff off. You don't need that stuff. Okay. So I'm going to just throw this away. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to go ahead and turn through this hole first. So I'm just going to put my hands in here and turn. Kind of be a little careful because this is just woven fabric and you don't want to tear these stitches. Okay, I just kind of push all the corners through. And then I take this, you might have the purple thing, whatever your turning system thing is. This is just from a turning system. I take the blunt end because this is just woven fabric. If you take the pointy end and you push really hard right here, you'll go through your woven fabric and you'll have to remake the bag. So get your corners out, but don't press too hard. Okay, and then I take my little scissors and I just cut off some of these strings that are hanging that we don't need. There's always a couple little strings here and there. And I just cut it up to clean up my bag. Okay. Now that we're here, we have this turned. We're going to go ahead and close this hole now. We don't need this hole anymore. Okay. So I'm going to take, I always do this, I don't get it right. I'm going to use this tape right here. Let me get the box for you. I always do this. I should have the thing out before I start because I always show it. Okay, so this is what the packaging looks like. Okay, and this is the tape I'm using. You also can close the hole with glue. I always kind of show the glue if I was using glue. This is the glue I would use. Okay. You can do other things too. Some people like to ladder stitch by hand. Some people like to turn it and they use a sewing machine. I just use this tape, and you can see your stitches right here. I just place this tape over these stitches, okay, and go across. Okay, when you get to the end, you can just tear it. It just tears. And then I rub it down really good to make sure it adheres. Okay. And then the reason we leave this extra fabric is because then you turn it in and you can kind of just sandwich it to get like a clean edge. And then you close it. Okay. So get it how you want it. I always get it exactly how I want it. Okay. So that's how I want it. Okay, and then you go ahead and you just take the corner of this tape. Make sure the sticky stuff staying down. See, my sticky's not down yet. So I'm just rubbing it more in this corner to get it down because you have to get it started. Okay, so there's the tape right there. So I just pull a little bit back and then I just start sandwiching it together. I pull a little at a time. If you pull this whole thing off and then try to do it, it's so sticky. Your fingers get stuck to it and it makes it way harder. So just do a little bit at a time. Pull a little, then close it. And then at the end, that tore off. So we need to get this excess. I'm going to get tweezers. Hold on. Something that can help get the rest out. You can pull it back open a little bit to get that. My tape just tore is all. The sticky's still there. Okay, so there, I got it off. You want to get it out though. So if any of your fabric pulls up, I just put it back in and then close it like that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna rub it to make sure it is completely closed. And then I will show you right there. So it's clean. Okay. And when I was cutting around, I was going to show you the end. It was just like a 1/4 inch. I just don't cut so close that any of your fabric will pull out, but you don't need a whole lot either. So just like a 1/4 of an inch or whatever. Okay. So it is closed. Okay. Now we're going to turn through this hole right here. So the reason you have this hole is because we opened our zipper. If you didn't open your zipper, you wouldn't have this hole right now. This would be closed all the way over here. Okay, that's why you need to open it. So now we're going to turn through this hole. Here's just some of our tape. Turn this hole. Okay. I'm just using my hand to get all the sides and corners out nicely. Okay, and I see a little string right here. I'm just going to cut so it's clean. Okay. Okay, and then here's our bag. I'll show you in a second. Here's our cute bag, the cute stitching. Here's the back. Here's the liner, completely lined, okay? And then you can take, I have this crossbody strap that I made right here out of the webbing. And so you can just clip them on. So, and you can buy straps. There's lots of people that buy straps from Amazon and buy straps from different resale groups and stuff. But I can do a video on how to put the hardware on the seatbelt webbing in a different video. I'll do that, and then you can see how I did this. You have to use certain hardware. I like to use this hardware, but anyways, that is how you make this bag and how you turn a bag into a purse. You can turn any of the bags into purses, and you can make your own straps and stuff. There is a video in the Parker on the Porch group that Bev did. She showed you how to make a strap out of fabric. So you can go watch that too. You can go into the group and go into the guides and watch videos. I'm trying to see if I have one here. I make those too, but I don't have one sitting around. This one is actually just a lot easier because you don't have to make the bias tape. You basically make bias tape and the right length, and then you put the hardware on it. That's how you make your own strap, but this is already made webbing, and then you just put the hardware on it. Okay, so I'll do a tutorial over in my group on the other website channel that shows you how to make this one, okay? And then you can come watch that if you like. And then if you want to make your own, then go ahead and go into the Parker on the Porch group and look up the video by Bev that she did. Okay, but this is how you make the bag. The video is about how to make this bag. It's super cute. Turns out really cute. The details are really cute. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will respond to them. If you have any questions, you also can post them in the Parker on the Porch Facebook group. There's lots of people in there that answer them very quickly over there. Okay, I hope you like this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one.